Hi, everyone. This is Candy Johnson. I am your host, and this is Real Talk brought to you by Real Raw Records.
If someone is saying that you won't make it and you have the drive, you have the ambition, you have all the knowledge that you would acquire over a period of time, and someone says you ain't gonna make it, that doesn't always mean you're not gonna make it.
Oh, no, it can never be true unless you allow it to be true because nothing is written in stone unless you write it.
That goes right along with what you were saying. And not, you must believe in order to achieve,
hmm
and no one can change that.
Yeah.
And then you must believe in order to achieve. So yeah, it's very true that if you believe it, it's going to come true eventually.
How faith works, okay? And um, basically, all right. The way I operate in faith is I see it happening, okay, and not in a next lifetime or anything like that. I see things before it happens. So, and it happens, it's not like way in the future type thing. I'm not to say that I haven't seen something and it didn't happen until years later because I mean I'm experiencing some a lot of deja vu of visions and dreams that I've had years ago. All right,
Right.
but those uh, the major like the big picture, okay, of what my destiny is. Yes, you need to know that early on what the big picture is, but in between, the final end and during the stages of preparation up until till that point, there has to be some things to take place to bring that into fruition or to bring that to pass or for that to actually materialize. All right, when I decided that this is what I'm going to do, all right, this is my destiny, this is what I want to do. I put myself into action and not just believe and say, oh, yeah, I really want this. I actually start doing things every single day of my life without fail. Every single day of my life, I do something towards materializing what I want. Okay. Even when you see me in hangouts or whatever, and other people may be just in the hangouts, just hanging out. But I'm actually I'm actually working, So I'm not ever and people tell me all the time, man, Kenny, why you don't ever relax? And you're always like you're always business 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 or taking care of something important or whatever like that. And I tell them because this is what I enjoy doing. I'm actually having fun doing this might not be something enjoyable for you because that's not your destiny, all right, but I thoroughly enjoy what I do because it's my destiny, not how I feel or I think it is. I know it is. It comes with ease. Yeah, I have some, hardships, of course, along the way. But what I mean is, even those hardships, going through those things are much easier than they would for other people, probably because that's not their destiny. And so I just, kind of lean with it and rock with it. It's just an enjoyable life for me, doing what I enjoy doing. I love to help people. I love music. I love, people in general. All right. And I was born with the gift of singing and, being musically inclined. And so that kind of is just a really good tool as far as helping people because with music, you can touch people, a lot of people's lives all at one time.
I definitely agree with the heart. Music can touch the soul, whereas words just touch the mind.
Right.
Um, and do you know who said that originally?
No.
I did. Uh,
Ah!
Scott. Now, I just had to throw that out there. But yeah. On your for topic of you're talking about your belief about faith. The only thing I may slightly either differ with you or I don't quite get the fullest of the picture of your basically stating what your meaning of faith would be because in the Bible there's I know for a fact you read the Bible because you've quoted it many times and when you quote the Bible you would know the faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen.
Evident.
So when you're talking about faith, that's my definition of faith. I don't know if you would agree or disagree with that. I might be able to ask you that now. Do you disagree or do you agree with the verse in which I just quoted?
Oh, I certainly agree with it, but where the misconception comes, I think, is understanding or taking the time out to thoroughly get an understanding of each one of those words.
Correct.
Okay, so when I study the Greek and Hebrew, which that scripture is located in the New Testament, which is written in Greek. All right. And if you look that word up, faith is a knowing and a seeing by revelation. All right. And so I'm very aware of
You're very aware of what the wording is, what
yes,
the wording
in
is,
depth.
the definition
Okay.
of the word.
Yes, and that word knowing is derived from the Greek word gnosis, all right, which means to I'm sorry, gnoso. Okay, that's the root word. Okay, gnoso, and and it's spelled GNSO, I think. Yes, gnoso.
We're,
SOS.
we're not, we're not playing semantics. I get your point.
Okay, but anyway, for I know people like to critique me, but I know
I
what
don't
I'm
care.
talking
There's
about.
only me and you are in this room. It doesn't really matter. If they come in here, then you'll have to get more explanatory. But I get
All
the point.
right, all right. But I usually tell people just look it up. I've already done it.
I just take your word upon it because I have no reason to not believe you.
Right, right.
But I understand what you're saying about you have to understand what each one of the words mean. Take the time out and get to know it all and what it actually means when it
Right.
says what it says. Then I would tend to agree with your stance because I'm pretty sure that's what it was actually trying to say, whereas people try to scrutinize it and change the definition of it to fit their own purpose, whereas it was stated for a reason that way, and people just keep trying to change the definition, just like any other
Well,
word out there.
it's more so that people lack knowledge. There's another scripture that says that people perish for the lack of knowledge, and the lack of the word lack doesn't mean that you don't have any knowledge. All right, doesn't mean that you don't have any. Okay, if you say I'm lacking a little money to pay my bill, it doesn't mean that you don't have any money. It's just that you don't have enough to pay the full balance. You know what I mean? So that's what lack means. So generally what I've found is that people lack knowledge because they haven't put sufficient enough effort into seeking. Okay. And that's derived, the word seek is derived from the word mm, oh shucky, what that is. Hupomene, all right. And hupomene, that's another Greek word that means to search out, all right. And it's another terminology for, when you're looking for your keys or something, you need to get going. And you're looking for your keys. and you don't find, you look around, all right? You may just look around initially. But when you're getting real close to time, you got to be work, you're going to start seeking. All right. And that means you're going to start tearing shit up and looking up under the couch instead of just on the couch. You're going to start digging, pulling out all the pillows and stuff, you know. That's what that word seek means, all right? You search out, all right? That means you're going to tear some shit up to get your answer, all right? Basically. All right. So I'm paraphrasing a little bit just because I don't like to use a lot of big words where people don't understand. I want to break it down to the lower terms where people can understand it. But yeah, so anyway, when people don't seek, this is why they have the lack of knowledge, all right? Back to the word faith, and what that scripture means when it's totally describing to you what faith really is. Okay, well, people just kind of, scam over stuff and say, oh, that's what that means. And they didn't, even in conversation, like somebody will say something and people don't take the time to listen and really understand what the person meant by what they said. Because one person can say something and another person can say the same thing, but they can mean two different things by what they said. You understand? So when we read the word, we got to understand that the word is multifaceted. The understandings it's like a diamond. It has different angles to it, all right? Different facets to it. And the more you chip away at it, all right, the more you chip away at it, you'll find out that there are layers, layers of understanding that is so fascinating and astonishing that this is the reason why I don't ever stop seeking, okay? Because there's just dimensions of understanding that we couldn't fathom with the natural mind of, what I mean by natural mind is that people are so little-minded, and they have their minds stuck in what society has told them, or even the people at the church have told them, or their parents has told them, or whatever, and to the point where they don't seek, they don't seek for more past beyond that. This is what I love about scientists. They're really, even though they screw up stuff, the awesome thing about scientists is they are seekers. They are seekers. And that's a beautiful thing. It's an awesome thing, to be a seeker. Because if you are a seeker, then God's principle promises that he will reveal himself. All right. And that's the good part right there, baby. The Bible says he's Jehovah Raz, the revealer of secrets. All right. And that's the beauty of him. He's so awesome, baby. Yeah. When I met him, I said, now that's he made love to my mind so good, amen, that I said, now that's intercourse right there. Yeah, it was good to me, baby. Or down to the last drop. Yeah. And I call him Huggable Love right now for that very reason. I call him Huggable Love because he's that good to me. All right. In every way. So it just behooves us, to get in a seeking mode and never cease from seeking. Okay, it's an awesome thing to be in seek mode. Ooh, wonderful. Yeah, because you're showing up fine. And if you believe, if you believe something so strongly that no one can convince you otherwise, all right, then whatever it is that you believe, will be a reality to you, okay? To you. So a good example is have you ever heard of the hypochondriacs?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's a good example of how a person can believe so much until it's realistic. Okay, what defines a hypochondriac? And I'm just gonna, you probably know what they is, but I just want to, for the listeners or viewers, a hypochondriac is a person who believes so strongly that they're ill that they actually produce symptoms in their body. Okay.
They believe something so strongly that it produces the symptom of what they believe, or the whatever they believe, it produces whatever they actually believe as a consequence of that.
Right. But that's what I was saying. I mean, we said it different, but that's the same thing. The point is that they actually produce the symptoms. That's the point. I was trying to make that, you know, another person might say, oh, ain't nothing wrong with such and such. But it is something wrong with them. And even if they go to the doctor, they say, I got high blood pressure. Well, when they go to the doctor, he picks that up and it registers on his test, because they have believed it until they made the actual symptoms. Okay. So fascinating and astonishing that this is the reason why I don't ever stop seeking. Okay. Because there's just dimensions of understanding that we couldn't fathom. Is that people are so little minded, you know, and they let have their minds stuck in what society has told them, or even the people at the church have told them, or their parents has told them, or whatever, and to the point where they don't seek. This is what I love about scientists. They're really, I mean, even though they screw up stuff, the awesome thing about scientists is they are seekers. They are seekers. And that's a beautiful thing. It's an awesome thing, you know, to be a seeker.